I'm Joanna and welcome to beautiful Sweden. I've come here thanks to the Winston Churchill Fund. For those of you who don't know, Winston Churchill Fund supports UK citizens to go abroad, learn something and bring back and share the knowledge back at home. I've come to Scandinavia and I'm going to be visiting Sweden, Finland and Norway, and I'm going to be looking at how they are integrating refugees and migrants into their new countries. I'm particularly interested in this because I run Speak Street, which is a pop-up language cafe back in the UK. This is exactly what I'm trying to do. I've come here, look at what they're doing. I'm going to be meeting lots of individuals and groups, and hopefully I'm going to learn some new ideas so I can take back home and implement them there, and hopefully you guys will too. I met with Nathan from the Multicultural Centre here in Stockholm, and they do a lot of research into migration and integration. It was with him that I was chatting and I first got thinking about this idea of integration in a sort of regional plan, not just doing a little bit here and there but having an actual plan by the local authorities. And he's the one who kind of first mentioned the idea of mentoring, which kind of led me on the idea of talking to this with other people and seeing if that was the kind of thing that I'd be able to implement back at home. I chatted to Emma from Compass Byron about their platform they do to help people connect with and make new friendships, and they've just launched a new project which connects people with different music tastes, which I think is great, and it builds a context to be able to build new friendships for people who are new and established in the country.
We have to offer different ways to meet each other. There has to be various organizations that works in different ways, because everyone is unique.
I met Eva and her team from United Invitations, who connect people from different backgrounds and countries to have dinner together, and she was telling me that the importance of connecting over food and the differences and friendships it sparks when you sit down and have dinner together. One of the main points that I have learnt during my time here in Scandinavia is this idea of mentoring. You know, the idea of getting someone who is new to the country, maybe doesn't speak the language, together and making friends in an informal setting with somebody who's long established seems to be really important and having a real impact, not only on people improving their language skills, but also in building friendships and ultimately improving personal well-being and creating a sense of community. Now that's something I think that I can really implement back home in the UK with Speak Street. I'm very excited about it and I can't wait to have a bit more of a think about how I might do that. In the UK we talk about immigrants. Here in Sweden they often talk about newcomers. I've noticed this change in language seems to really impact on how you view the situation and the context about what you're talking about. And I'm really interested to think how, if I change my language to be something more positive, to reflect the kind of equal relationship as opposed to people just having immigrants and outsiders, I think that could have a real impact and actually encourage us to think about things in a slightly more positive way. I'm interested to think how I might do this back in the UK and encourage others to do the same. So I'm on the boat, leaving Sweden, heading to Finland, should arrive around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's been a really great 2 weeks in Sweden. I've learned so much, met some really cool people doing really interesting, innovative things, and I'm just so excited to get to Finland to see what else I can learn from there. Hi and welcome to Finland. I arrived yesterday on the boat from Stockholm and I'm here in beautiful Helsinki. You can see behind me It's a beautiful day, although it's a bit chilly. In Helsinki, I'm going to be meeting with lots of groups of refugees who are helping people to integrate into Finland. So hopefully I can continue to learn some points and bring back to the UK. I just met with Anna from the School for Social Sciences here at the University of Helsinki. It's a very international place with students from all over the world studying integration, and I found it's very interesting. She gave me an overview of Finland. It's actually a very young nation that's only been in existence for about 100 years, and since 2015 received a big influx of refugees coming from Syria and Iraq mainly. And she was telling me about all the different things that are helping people to integrate, and she thinks that the language course is a key element to this, but it could be improved by having a more specialised, more tailored approach. And I was also interested by this idea of local coordinators who are kind of welcoming people to the new communities and sort of acting as a point of reference. I think that idea is really interesting as well. So great first meeting in Finland. I'm here at Helsinki Airport, and I would say at least 5 key learning points from my whole trip here. Firstly, the idea of buddying and mentoring, and I think that's something I can really look into how I might do that. Secondly, the idea of creating hubs where lots of different organisations are collaborating together. Thirdly, I think the idea of the linguistic change of using language like newcomers and established people is quite a shift for the UK and could be quite radical. That's definitely something I want to advocate. Fourth point, I would say, has been a key theme: promoting ways in which newcomers can participate in decision making, potentially having a sort of focus group who can consult on the best ways to help people who have just arrived, and also being able to participate in local government, local decision making. And finally, I think here in Finland at least, asylum seekers are able to work 3 months after they arrive, instead of slipping into this limbo state that can last years in the UK. I think that could be quite a critical change that could really make a difference to helping people to integrate and to get on with their new lives. So lots to think about. It's been a great time. I'm just about ready to fly, so we'll see what happens next. Welcome to Oslo in Norway. I've come here for the second half of the Winston Churchill Fund to find out how people here are helping refugees. Here I am in the Viking Ship Museum. You can see on a map that the Vikings travelled all over the world in little boats, like this one behind me. Obviously, fast forward to today and people are still travelling around the world and migrating. It hasn't changed the story. I've been here for the past few days, and Monday I visited the Language Cafe, which was run by volunteers. It was about helping people just to meet and socialise. A lot of people said that they found it difficult to interact and meet friends here, particularly when they didn't speak Norwegian. And so there were also Norwegian people there helping people to learn, and it was very kind of informal but a really cosy atmosphere. And that was something, they had about 30 people there, which was really good to see. Then I visited the Red Cross, and now most people will know the Red Cross. They've been going 150 years, and they had a very organised Norwegian training programme that was free and open to anyone to come along to. And I observed that there was about 40 people there, and they had volunteers at each table, and it was all about speaking and improving their spoken Norwegian. And what I learnt from them is that they had a really robust volunteer recruitment and training programme. and so they had a little booklet that explained the whole methodology. People signed up and they had training, and then there were group leaders who then managed the volunteers in the group. So I think as I scale, that's something that I can implement in how to manage and effectively use volunteers in Speak Street. One thing as well that's very different here in Norway, similar to Sweden, is that there is a lot of government support for integration and supporting people to learn the language and to integrate. And there's a great website which is government backed, and that helps people to download resources if they want to help people learning Norwegian and to practice in a sort of informal setting such as the language cafes, etc. And lots of resources. I thought if there was a central place where people could download resources to help to set something up voluntary, that could be a good thing as well. I'm coming to the end of my trip to Norway, and rather fittingly, it's outside of Sir Winston's house. There he is, Sir Winston Churchill, and thanks to the Churchill Foundation I've been able to travel to Norway, Finland and Sweden to learn about what they're doing to help refugee integration here. And I've learned so many points which I've covered already, and I'm very excited to implement them back at home, learning from their model and their ideas. Back in London, I'm very excited to say that I've already implemented some of the learning. I have started a project called Art Talks, which is a project that helps people to practice their English through tours of art galleries here in London, and that's going very well. I've had a lot of people wanting to join, and as well I'm championing the new terminology of newcomers as opposed to talk about refugees and asylum seekers, and I've already noticed that a few other people and organisations are starting to pick up on that and use it themselves. We're also, I've implemented some new volunteering processes and introductions, and as I saw it, particularly in Norway, I think that's going to help us grow as we move forward. And I'm also proud to say that we are very much part of a integrated regional approach to helping people who are newly arrived integrate. And that's something that I saw was important from my trip, and I'm very much looking forward to be part of that going forward. I've already implemented some of the things, but I'm very much excited to think about how I might do even more in the coming months and years as Speak Street grows.